Hello explorers and welcome to another video. Today we are going to talk about openfaas, functions as a service. And openfaas is something that you can install to your Kubernetes cluster in order to push functions that you want to run, something that takes some input and gives some output, but you don't want to mess with Docker files or handle different installation options. You just want a simple function running in the cloud. So this will help you with that. And we are going to look at how to set up a simple openfaas installation and create our custom function. So let's jump into my little guide here. We have first off some prerequisites that we need. We need to install Docker tools, Kubernetes, minikube, kube control and Helm in order to help us out to install things. If you're not using minikube, you only need the Docker tools, kube control and Helm, and that the rest will handle for you. But I've started here with creating my minikube, so I've done minikube start. So let's start by creating a service account called Tiller, and Tiller will be used by the system in order to get the option to start and stop different Docker instances and so on, or different pods in our system. And we also need to create a cluster role binding, so we have a cluster admin connected to this service account. Next up, we need the namespaces created for the Kubernetes environment. And these namespaces are openfaas and openfaas function. So the openfaas is for the openfaas functionality, and then you have your own functions in the function namespace. So they have separated those. Next up, we need to set up the repository for openfaas, and this is from GitHub and just added to the Helm repositories so we can install openfaas. Then we need a little bit of a secret that we put into our system. So here we can set secret. So our secret is secret. So this is the password, and we also set the basic auth of username of admin. So the admin secret is the username and password, and this is a secret that we put into our Kubernetes cluster that is later used by the installation of openfaas. There is other ways to set up the different authentication methods, but this is the simplest. So we put in that, and then we will install the openfaas, and here we will upgrade openfaas or install it. And we have the namespace of openfaas. We have the functional namespace, so that's a variable we set to the openfaas fn. So you can change these namespaces if you like. Then we set basic authentication to true, so that's how it finds these secrets and uses those. So this created the openfaas installation. And then we can actually use the command displayed here in order to see how long the deployment has gone through. It can take a little bit of a while before all the different pods are ready and up to so you can use them. In the meantime, we will fetch the IP of the minikube cluster. So this is 192, 168, 99, 130. So that is something that we need to use later on. So let's set up a little bit of a variable here for this little IP, so we can reuse that later. And then when everything is up and running, we want to log in. It's almost up and running. We only need the gateway and the alert manager and the fast idler to start up. So now it's only the gateway left. So now everything is up and running. So let's continue here by logging in. The recommended way here is to echo your password into the ether and then using password standard in to read it into the command. It might work in your system. In Windows, it can be a little bit fuzzy. It doesn't really work every time. So I use the just password command here. It's not recommended, but it will work for this purpose. And then you just supply the password as a command parameter. And you see here that it also warns you that I'm not using a secure connection and that I also is not supplying the password in a secure way. So now we have logged in with our fast CLI, so we can use this fast CLI to do different tasks in our system. Next up, I want to set up the Docker environment in my minikube, so I can actually deploy Docker instances to this Kubernetes cluster. Copy these rows and supply them again. So now I have set up so we can actually publish to the Docker environment. And I also want a registry to publish my different images too. So here I will set up a little bit of set up a registry in my Docker environment on the port 5000. If I don't want to use a local registry, it will publish the images to Docker Hub, and I don't want you to create a username on Docker Hub just to test this out. So I created a local repository here. Then we need some templates. We can either pull all the templates by using this command, or we can pull a single template if we want that as well. I just wanted to show what kind of languages that are available, so I will pull all the templates down to a directory here. Then we can list all the different templates that are in our store, so you see that we have a lot of them, different templates that we can download. And some of them are not, as we see here, openfaas. These are the ones that are installed already. And if we want any of the other ones down here that comes from different vendors, we need to use a separate command to pull those down in order to use those. And then we can do a simple list here to see which different languages we have in our system here. So we see that we have Java, Go, Python, PHP, Ruby, Node, and so on. And I will do a Java 11 one. So I will run this command to create a function template for Java 11. And I will put the prefix of localhost 5000. And that is what I want to set as a prefix, just so it will push it locally, not to Docker Hub. You can put the prefix of your Docker Hub username instead, and it will push it over there. So now we have created this template, and in order to push that up, you can either run up this fast CLI up command with the YAML file of the project, and that will run build, push, and deploy, and push it into your system. So we will run this one and wait for a while in order to see that it actually is pushed up. While we wait for that, I will go over to the web browser and go to the port 30 as we had before, and put in admin and secret. And that will log us into the web UI of this openfaas installation. And here we see that we don't have anything deployed yet. We are currently building something to deploy here, but we can try it out from the store. They have a store with some functions that you can try out. And I found one here that I thought was a little bit funny, called ASCII cows. So let's deploy that one. It should not take that long to push in. It takes a little while for it to get ready. But the status here will change from not ready to ready when it has actually deployed to the openfaas system and is up and running. Now that it's ready, I can either invoke it in here and I get a little bit of an ASCII cow here, or I can take this URL here and go to the ASCII cow outside, and I will get a new cow for every time I run this little command. So that's a way to invoke your different commands in the openfaas environment. So let's see how here we are running some tasks and building our Gradle build in order to publish it into this portal. So now it's done. It has pushed everything to our local repository, and it also deployed it into our portal here. So let's look in the portal and we see that we have this. It's not ready. Oh, now it's ready, and we can invoke it and we see that we get hello world. We can also run fast CLI list here, and we can see what things are published and how many invocations we had for this different functions. We can use the URL as well, and we get hello world. So now we have published our first function into this repository, but we also want to create our own function, of course. We want to change this functionality. So let's open up this example in IntelliJ here. When it has opened, IntelliJ will figure out that, oh, here we have a Gradle file. So let's import that one. So now we have a ready Gradle build, and it will run through some processes here to index our environment and do the Gradle build and so on for both the function, our function, but also for the templates that come with this function. So now it has built all the functions, but we got a failure here. The project model is not found in the path. I'm not really sure how to get this working. There is a model repository on openfaas that you can import, but it actually doesn't really change this line here. So I guess that's something that is required for the Gradle build in order to get it into our system later on. But if we just ignore that for now, remove it and build, then we can go into our function here. So we get some tests, a very simple handler test, which just says, looks that this test is not null. And if we go in here, we see that we have a lot of imports that are failing, but we can take help from this and just add the dependency on the module, Java 8, and then we will get some help with these. And if we look at the request, we have a get body. So let's take the body of the request and just put it in here so we can say hello, whatever is in the body. So now we have done a very simple change here for this repository. We can also set up the JDK so we can build it. And when we want to use this again in our system, we of course need to put this model compile back again, or else it will not build correctly in the system. So if we go back here and take our little guide here, now we can do this one at a time. So you can see, first off, we do the build. It will run through and build the different resources. And as it already have built a lot of them, it will start by the Gradle build. And hopefully that will not take that much time either, as we are already done this once before. So hopefully it will just run through and do our Gradle build for this Java environment. So now it's successfully built the environment. So let's push it up to our registry. So most of it should already be pushed. And when that's done, we will do a deploy. And this will just tell the system what you have deployed before, just reuse the new functionality that we have now. So let's go over to our web browser here, look at the Java function, and it should be ready. If we invoke it, we see hello and nothing. If I put in Daniel here, it will say hello Daniel, and it works. So what we have gone through today is looking into openfaas, how to deploy openfaas in your Kubernetes environment, how to create a new template for the Java language, how to change that template up a little bit, deploy the changes to the openfaas environment. I hope that you learned something today. I hope that you found this video interesting. Are you using function as a service in your deployments? Or do you have any other comments or suggestions? Leave them down in the comment section down below. If you like this video, give it a like, share it with your friends and colleagues, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that, and I really hope to see you in the next video.